سلام، بلال طاهری هستم از دریچه سینما. خیلی خوشحالم که با یه برنامه دیگه، با گفتگوی زنده دیگه در خدمت شما هستم و طبق روال گذشته این برنامه‌مون رو آغاز میکنیم با معرفی جشنواره و پس از اون گفتگوی کوتاهی خواهیم داشت با یکی از مدیران جشنواره فیلم و انشاءالله در چند بعد از در واقع تمام شدن این گفتگو ما سیو میکنیم و شما میتونید اون رو از طریق سایت نگاه بکنید. شما خب من خب تا ایشون قبول بکنم درخواست ما رو برای متصل شدن، عرض کنم حضورتون که ما Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Thank you very much.
Sorry, it's freezing up a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me now? It's okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm just give some information in Persian to our audience, and I will back to you in a minute. Okay?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. خب امروز در خدمت خانم مالینکان هستیم از جشنواره در واقع FAI یا American Film Institute که دو تا جشنواره رو در واقع اینها برگزار میکنن و جزئیاتش رو میخوایم از خانم مالین بپرسیم و ایشون اطلاعات بیشتری رو راجع به این بنیاد فیلم آمریکا به ما اعلام بکنیم. Okay, thank you for having us and thank you for joining us. It's my pleasure. And so can you tell us more about AFI, your American Film Institute, for our audience to know much more better about your organization?
Sure. So the American Film Institute is an actual school for filmmaking. So they have, 5 different disciplines, and they train students to be filmmakers. And we are kind of under them. And so we're AFI festivals, and we have 2 different festivals. AFI Fest is in November in Los Angeles, and AFI Docs is in DC in June. What normally all of these things are normally in November, but this year we moved the festival up to October to avoid the election. But yeah, so AFI Docs, is in DC, and we focus on documentary film. And AFI Fest is, because of where we are in the timeline, we really show a lot of world cinema. But we play kind of everything. It's a little bit of a survey of the best of the year's festivals.
Okay, so do you only replace the date only for election, or the COVID or the virus situation also affected on it?
No, it's a good question, because there were a lot of factors, but we actually had moved our date up to October. We actually had moved our date up to October already before COVID hit. But one of the things that affected it last year was the Oscars deadline moved up. So we tended to kind of miss out on a lot of the, the big world cinema films like Parasite, released before us. So we had kind of shifted, like the industry tends to kind of like all move around the Oscars. But then, of course, their dates moved back, so we could potentially go back to November. But, this year, I think it's better that we kind of avoid November at all costs.
Okay, that's good. You don't only manage the festivals, you also do something for students and for filmmakers in the side of the festival?
Somewhat. We have a conservatory showcase is what it is, and it's basically a section in the festival. It's free to attend, and you can view it throughout the festival starting October 16th through 22nd. And these are the thesis films from the students at the AFI Institute. So that is kind of one thing we do to kind of help support them. But we do also often play a lot of student films in our regular short program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you screen the movie that has been selected in the festival, or you screen the other movies?
Well, the thesis films they're not, technically official selections because it just has to do with the students that happen to be making their thesis films this year at the Conservatory. But we do often play films from AFI alumni just kind of because they were selected. There's no, there's no special treatment there, but, we have our DWW, which is our Director's Workshop for Women. And then, we do kind of, we always appreciate when films just come to us that we love and they happen to be by alumni. And, we have several features this year that are from alumni.
Okay, so the filmmakers can submit or can apply for that screening beside of the AFI for the screening separately, or you have any other way to choose the movies for that program?
Sorry, what is the question?
If I understand well, you screen the movies in the whole year, yeah?
Yes. So what I meant by when I said we were a survey is just that, yes, we do not have any premiere requirements other than local premiere requirements. So if a film, plays already all around the States and we still love it and we want to support it, then we'll play it. I think, premiere requirements for a lot of filmmakers are a big, it's a big learning curve, I think, to try and figure out how you have to figure out your festival strategy. For instance, if somebody were to accept an invitation to the San Francisco Film Festival and then all of a sudden get an invitation from another film festival that they couldn't accept because of it, it's just like, well, how was I supposed to know I was going to get that invitation? So, we want to really just kind of support the integrity of our programming and make sure that we are, supporting filmmakers that we love.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So about the organization, the Audi is the main sponsor of the festival for all the time, or only for this edition?
Audi has been our main, our main sponsor for as long as I've been there. I'm not sure exactly when this partnership was formed, but they keep renewing every year, thankfully. Audi is the main sponsor for AFI Fest, and we also have AT&T sponsoring AFI Docs.
So I want to know that the organization is some governmental things, or no, it's a non-governmental organization.
It's hard because in the States, it's like technically anything that's a not-for-profit is a governmental organization, because we're just, we pay different taxes. But it's still really hard to kind of get the support that you need. We do rely on a lot of, other corporate sponsors in addition to Audi, and we also rely on individual donors and memberships to keep us going. I think a lot of the major US festivals are nonprofits, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're kind of standing by.
Yeah. So, okay, thank you. So let's go back to the festivals. Is that any kind of reason that you separate the documentaries from the main festival?
I'm sorry, are there any what?
You separated the documentary festival from the main festival. Is that any reason for that?
Well, they actually used to be completely separate, just because we have a theater in Silver Springs, Maryland. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a completely different programming team, and it's just in the last 2 years that we merged our programming teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we're playing, we're the same team that does both AFI Fest and AFI Docs. Um,
Uh-huh.
so in the last 2 years, we've also incorporated a lot more documentaries into AFI Fest. So we have now, we didn't used to have a dedicated section for documentaries. And in addition, we have many documentaries in our shorts film section, and we have a juried award that goes to best documentary. So we are
Mm-hmm.
trying to incorporate documentary, at a greater and greater level. And I think it's something like 35% of the festival this year. So we have a lot of documentaries and a lot of really great
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
that's so. Do you have any kind of new media, VR or XR section also?
Um, no, we did have that, a few years ago, but I think it was one of those things where we weren't really getting at it. We weren't really sure what we were getting out of it. And I think, a lot of festivals really went in for VR and then kind of backed off a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of like maybe waiting to see, well, how does VR, you know, evolve to kind of incorporate, storytellers, to incorporate, filmmakers. There were some, big name on tours who were doing VR for a while, and just kind of doesn't seem like it's happening so much anymore. But also COVID really stalls that. It's not the time to be, putting on different headsets.
Okay. I have some question from filmmakers. They are confusing that is the silver dog is something else from AFI dogs, or they are same thing.
It used to be Silver Docs. Yeah. So as soon as we moved the festival out of our theater that's in Maryland into Washington, D.C. proper, that's when we changed our name to AFI Docs.
Uh-huh.
We didn't want to be a regional festival. We wanted to be a major, documentary festival in the States.
Okay, okay. And both of this festival are has been qualified by FIAF, or only AFI festival?
Well, I think the FIAF affiliation is actually with the American Film Institute.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure exactly what the partnership there is. I think one of the main benefits with FIAF, right, is that you can, work with different archives,
Yeah.
with less of a hassle.
Yeah. So none of this festival are qualified for Oscar or BAFTA or something else, yeah?
Well, we do have our audience, or not our audience awards, our juried shorts award is qualifying, Oscar qualifying. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Only in fiction, yeah?
It's I guess the Oscar qualifications are a little odd, but you have to win, yes, the grand jury prize in our shorts
Mm-hmm.
jury
Yeah.
competition. So yes, it doesn't
Okay.
count for for documentary or animation, but a documentary or an animated film could potentially win the grand jury prize. There's no, we're not separating a distinction in that way.
Oh, you don't. Okay. So, how many submission you get every year? Do you have any statistics about that? That how many submission, how many movies you get every year?
Yeah, so this year was a little bit lower, I think, just because of where we are in the timeline. And I think because people weren't really sure if we were going to, continue on.
Yeah.
A lot of festivals were doing, different things. They were saying, oh, we'll count your fee towards next year, or, but
Yeah.
so we ended up having, I think, about 2,500 submissions for AFI Fest this year, but normally
Yeah.
our submissions are around 4,000.
Wow.
And yeah, and for docs, it's usually around 2,500.
That's great. That's great. So, how many you will select to screen from those movies?
Well, this year we have 145 films in total, but that's including our Conservatory showcase. It's including our Meet the Press film section, and it's including our short film section.
Okay, so so can you tell us more about the selection process? What do you need from movies? What they must do to be selected in your festival?
Yeah, you know, this is a little bit of a harder question, I think, because we're not, we're not an identity festival or anything. We're not like a regional festival. So I think what we look for is just kind of, really kind of new and unique filmmaking. We're trying to discover new filmmakers at the same time as kind of, playing these kind of big name auteurs. A lot of, these world cinema titles wouldn't get played in LA ordinarily. They don't get the theatrical runs that they get in New York necessarily. So, we want to support like art film, independent filmmaking, but we also, we really want to look deeply at all the different festivals throughout the year and, kind of bring those films to Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have some kind of delegates that going to other festivals or looking to other festivals selections also to have them in your festival, yeah?
Yeah, we do have some world premieres. I think especially in the shorts, we're a little bit more of a discovery festival. But generally, we track other festivals throughout the year very closely. Because of where we are in the timeline, it just, we pull a lot of films from Berlin, we pull a lot of films from Cannes, we pull films from Rotterdam, from Sundance, of course. But we're just trying to look really closely and make sure we can bolster the films that are kind of already out there that could use that extra support.
Okay, thank you very much. The way for submit to your festival is only the Film Freeway, or do you have any other platform or any other way to submit to your festival?
It's just Film Freeway. We used to have it without a box, but they went goodbye. So yes, it's
rest in peace without a box.
Yeah, but I would encourage filmmakers to kind of leverage. I think one of the things that a lot of filmmakers don't kind of know off the bat is they can leverage these festival invitations into more festival invitations. So, one of the things that I always suggest that filmmakers do is like really learn the festival landscape. Don't just set your eyes on Cannes and Sundance and then call it a failure if you don't get in. What you can do is look at those kind of mid-range festivals that are really, highly regarded. We look to them. So, if somebody, tells us that they got, invited to, I don't know, any of those kind of, maybe they're not the top 5 festivals, but we respect them and we look to their programming. So write the programmers. A lot of our contacts are available on our websites, and say, hey, I got this invitation. And often you'll just get a waiver. They'll say, hey, we'd love to see this film. It's already on our radar or something. So yeah, just try and leverage those invitations.
Actually, our aim to have this conversation with the festivals like you is to aware the filmmakers that they have many options and they must look other festivals and they must only focus on that major festivals. Thank you for this point. It's very important. So let me to ask you how you will provide any opportunity for filmmakers. If someone accepting your festival, do you have any program to make some opportunity for the movie or for filmmaker for next the production or something like that?
Well, just unfortunately, we don't have any grants or like prize money with our festival. But I think, you know, one of the things that I always hear from filmmakers who attend is that we are absolutely one of their favorite festivals to attend, because what we do is we create a lot of events around the festival every day. We have multiple events. You really, if you attend the festival, you know, if your film is selected and you attend the festival, you get to know the other filmmakers really well. You see them a lot throughout the course of the week, and you get to know others in the industry. And I think these networking opportunities are just really important. You know,
Yeah.
we're really there to kind of support the filmmakers, to help them kind of make those connections, and, you know, to keep them as a part of the family as well. We want to, you know, continue to follow the filmmakers who, you know, we have played in the past. You know, even now, if a filmmaker writes me and their film was at AFI Fest 1991, you know, I'll say,
No.
hey, yeah, I'll give you a waiver. I'd love to see your film, you know.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, like a family. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, very sweet. Okay, so for the my other question is about Iran cinema. Did you have any Iranian movies in your festival before?
Yeah, we do. Every year we have Iranian films. I really, you know, we love Iranian cinema. You know, we have a really strong partnership with the Farhang Foundation here in Los Angeles, and we also, you know, this year we are playing Mohammad Rasulov's film "There Is No Evil." We're also playing this wonderful short called "The Visit." The filmmaker is Azadeh Mousavi, and you know, every year we have multiple films from Iran, and we're so happy to, you know, be able to yeah.
Thank you for your support. Thank you very much. So, do you have any advice for filmmakers that they are making their first movie, or they are young filmmakers? Do you have any advice for them? Do you have any specific thing for them to make a better movie or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my advice would be, you know, don't be precious, you know, share your film with the people you really trust. And, you know, even if you're not going to take their advice or their notes, you know, process it and kind of like listen to what they have to say. So, you know, at the point where you're actually developing a festival strategy and you're sending your film far and wide, you've already gotten those kind of, you know, perspectives. And just, you know, I think one of the the major things that I always stress is just, you know, avoid cliches. You know, don't try to make a movie that is like a movie. You know, try to make your movie, you know, something that's, you know, reflecting on your own self and your own kind of creative vision. You know,
Yeah.
if you're making short films, don't don't set out to make a short film that is just on your way to a feature, because we know that as programmers, you know, we want to see a short film that's a short film, not, you know, something you're going to use to shop around for money. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So, we have a question from a filmmaker that in your festival, do you focus on any theme or any genre, or no, you're open to every kind of the movie?
Yeah, we're really open to everything. I mean, you know, we play, you know, some experimental films. As I mentioned, we play a lot of documentaries. You know, we're playing world cinema from all over the world, you know, that we want to see these like stories that are reflective of different countries. You know, and we also play American independence. So we really just want to kind of represent everything, kind of, you know, we want there to be something for everyone, and we also want people to really be exposed to this different kind of filmmaking.
Thank you very much. So I have two other questions. First off, you already answered this, but do you think that how this pandemic affected on the movies and festivals, and in your festival also?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because there are just so many unknowns. You know, you're trying to project what is the effect going to be if this lasts this much longer or this much longer. You know, it was, even as we were putting on AFI Docs virtually in June, we didn't know, were we going to be able to have a physical festival in Los Angeles in October. Turns out we're not. So, you know, now we're looking again, we're trying to move forward in our timeline, and we're looking again at June in DC, and we have no clue what it's going to look like. So, you know, it's really hard having all of these unknowns. I think one of the things that I'm really happy about with, you know, the leadership of our festival is that we were able to pivot really quickly, and our virtual events have been very successful so far, you know, with AFI
Really?
Doc. Yeah, we absolutely sold out of all of our passes. So many of the films sold out. You know, they were really widely attended. We're able to have Q&As with every single film now. You know, a
Oh,
lot of
really?
it's just, well, what filmmakers can attend and what filmmakers can't. And now we're just like, well, you know, we can, doesn't matter if you can attend, we'll just do this. So,
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's
yeah.
amazing.
So, you
So
know,
in go on, excuse
oh, no, go ahead.
me. So in the normal situation, do you invite filmmakers and you pay for the cost of travel and accommodation and something like that?
Yes, for all of our feature films, we do. You know, we're, you know, we have this Hollywood and Highland, like this Hollywood Roosevelt, this historic hotel that we host filmmakers at, and we have all the parties right there, and it's really kind of like, it feels like a summer camp feel, you know, at this like
Yeah.
ridiculous intersection in Los Angeles that's just full of people in different costumes, and you know. Yeah, but it's really nice. We fly out filmmakers for a few days, and they can attend our events on those days. That's why we have events every day, and they can, you know, attend the festival. We really encourage them to. So yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, for last question, if you have any advice for filmmakers for submitting for your next edition, please share it with us, and let us know how the filmmakers can be more successful in the world of the cinema.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I mentioned before, I think it's important to really get to know different festivals, to get to know the programmers who are there. Our contact information is available. You know, you can write me on anything. I think what's really important is to kind of know, what are you approaching someone with? Like, how can you sell your film to this particular festival? You know, if you have, you know, a film that you're trying to sell to an AFI and you're an AFI alumni, mention that, you know, mention if somebody on your team is an AFI alumni, mention if somebody on your team had a film at the festival before, you know, mention the other festivals that you've been at, mention, you know, make sure that you sell yourself to us so that we really want to see your film, because even if we don't give you a waiver or something, like, your film will be flagged. I'll remember it, and I'll go into our system and I'll be like, well, who else watched this? And let's say maybe, you know, it wouldn't necessarily be pushed up to me at that point. If I'm reading the coverage and it's interesting to me, then all of a sudden I'm watching your film and it's jumped all the way to the top of the, you know, of the list. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's very important. You know, a lot of filmmakers don't know how to present themselves, and always I tell them that it's an industry, and you must know how to present yourself and your movie to the festival and to other people.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, and it's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
It was such a pleasure to meet you. And I hope
Thank
your
you, thank you.
I hope you know, everybody in your network starts submitting to AFI, remembers us, AFI Fest, AFI Docs. You know, we're available on all the social medias.
For sure. We already translated your rules and your regulation in Persian, and we put it in our website, so to promote your festival and to make your festival known better in Iran and other Persian country. So I hope to filmmakers use this source to make a better decision and make better movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank
Bilal. It
you.
was good to meet you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
بای بای. بسیار خب، خیلی ممنون از اینکه با ما همراه بودین دوستان عزیز. یه گفتگو بسیار خوبی بود با خانم مالین راجع به جشنواره در واقع سازمان AFI یا بنیاد فیلم آمریکا که نکات خیلی خوبی رو اشاره کردن. امیدوارم که حتما به کار بگیرید برای اینکه حتی اگر بخواید مستقلاً در جشنواره ها شرکت بکنید، این نکات بسیار مهمی هستن. ما سعی کردیم در این دوره گفتگوها که الان این هم یک جشنواره به هر حال مورد تایید آکادمی اسکار بود و بسیار مهم هست در دوره در واقع حیات یک فیلم که در این گونه جشنواره ها شرکت بکنه. سعی کردیم که شما رو آشنا بکنیم با جشنواره ها و خیلی ممنون که در کنار ما بودید. سلامت و تندرست باشین. امیدوارم که مجدد شما رو ببینم. پادکست های ما رو هم گوش کنید. خداحافظ.